you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be reviewing my personal favorite Fall Out Boy album so far, Infinity on High. Okay, this album is my favorite album probably of all time, but like any artist. Like, I love this album. This album sparked my music interest. Since this is my favorite album, I'll give you guys like a backstory of why I like it really fast. They were doing a promotion with Aeropostale in the mall, and so they had posters of this album artwork and the guys everywhere. So I was like, I never heard of Fall Out Boy before. Like, I've heard of like Dance Dance and Sugar We're Going Down because I've heard there's the songs, but I never heard of Fall Out Boy. Like, I didn't know Fall Out Boy sang them. So my sister was like, "Oh, I know that band. I want that CD." And the promotion was if you bought like a certain amount of stuff, that you would get the CD copy of this for free. So my sister did that, and we played it on the car on the drive back. We were like in middle school, so like, you know, obviously my mom was driving us around, but we played on the car on the way back, and I was like, this is actually pretty good. Like, because I was kind of still in that like Disney Channel phase where all I listened to was like High School Musical and Hannah Montana and like weird stuff like that. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, I listened to that till I was like in 7th grade, but anyway, so, you know, we listened to it. I was like, this isn't bad, you know, whatever. And then I kind of like forgot about it. So then I went out with one of my friends, and he was a big Fall Out Boy fan. Like, I actually ended up seeing a concert later on in life with him, but he was a big Fall Out Boy fan. Like, we were both in 7th grade, so he was young too, but he was a big fan. And he played like the entire Infinity on High album all the way through, because we were going to go eat at Applebee's, and the closest Applebee's was like 20 minutes away. So we basically like listened to the entire album on the way there and the way back, completely through. And I was just like, you know, sitting in the back of the car like, this is really good. Like, it's like, it was like the first time I was ever really exposed to pop punk music. And I just remember sitting there like, I need to like, you know, look them up. I need to like download some of their songs and put them on my iPod, you know, because that was just like before streaming and Spotify and stuff. So I was like, I need this in my life. Like, this is amazing. And like, it was right around the time that This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race was blowing up, was when I was kind of discovering Fall Out Boy. So that would play on the radio, and I was like, oh yeah, I know this song. I've heard it in the car with my friends. My sister likes it. This is Fall Out Boy. Okay, Fall Out Boy. I grew up really conservative. Not how I feel now, but that's how I grew up. So when they would do the hard GD in the song, I was like, this is bad. I don't want to listen to this. But, you know, just like, I loved the way it sounded. I loved the, you know, the complete like song. I loved everything about it, and I was like, this is awesome. I really want to look into this, and that's what kind of sparked my love for them. I ended up buying tickets to see them because they were coming to Buffalo, because this is where I listened when I lived in New York. They were coming to Buffalo like that next week as soon as I was like discovering them, and I'm like, yo mom, like, can we go and see this band? Like, I don't really know much about them, but they seem really cool. And my mom kind of started listening to their music, and she's like, yeah, you know, why not? My dad was in Iraq at the time because he was in the Air Force, so my mom just wanted, you know, to do a lot of fun things with me and my sister to kind of get our minds away that our dad was in Iraq at the time. So she was like, okay, yeah, like, I'll take you all to this concert. Like, the only seats that were available were in the very back, unless we wanted to sit on the lawn. But, you know, me and my sister were so little, you know, and a lot of people like to drink on the lawn and stuff. My mom wanted to make sure we were in seats. Like, I was in 7th grade, so I was 13, and my sister was in 6th grade, so she was probably 12 or 11. And we were sitting in the back of this venue, and Fall Out Boy back then was like crazy. So my sister and I, you know, we were little kids in like the back of the venue, just like in awe. Like, at least I was in awe of this band, like, and like their opening stuff was so weird, and I was like, that was like so me, and I was just like, I need to know more about this band. Basically, that's how I like fell in love with them. And right after that concert, I made my mom drive me to Walmart, and like with whatever allowance I had at the time, I bought From Under the Cork Tree and Take This to Your Grave, and I had like my little CD player, and I would just listen over and over and over and over again. And I'm like, I think I found my love. So that is basically how I fell in love with Fall Out Boy, and probably why Infinity on High is my favorite album by them, just because it sparked my love for them. Alright, but let's get on with the actual review of the album. So, Infinity on High, Fall Out Boy's 3rd studio album. This was, they kind of considered it their sophomore, even though From Under the Cork Tree was their sophomore. This was their sophomore on a major label. So, they were like, you know, this might be our last time to do this on a major label. Let's just go for it and do everything. Like, they had like a full orchestra, like all the bells and whistles came out on this album, because they're like, we might never get a chance to do this again. So they did not want to, like, they just took every risk possible to make this the way they wanted to make it, and to use everything like major labels give bands. So they just went all out on this album. Thriller. They got Jay-Z to open up the entire album on Thriller. Like, that is crazy, because back then they weren't super big yet. So the fact that they were able to get Jay-Z on the album was insane. Like, they couldn't even believe that it happened. Like, I guess, like, Jay-Z, when he was willing to do it, he would, like, send them a bunch of different versions of the opener, and they had, like, just Jay-Z just talking, like, on recordings, and they were just, like bewildered. Like, so there's actually a funny interview where they're talking about how they, like, called, you know, to talk to Jay-Z to see if they'd open the album, and they were, like, Pete and Patrick were, like, debating on who was gonna, like, ask for him and stuff, and how they were gonna ask for him, and then he just answered the phone, so they're like, oh, weird, like, we just called Jay-Z's personal phone, like, so, you know, they were just kind of, like, entering in that, like, stage of fame where they were still, like, fanning out over these people, but they were, like, equals, so it was, like, weird for them. Take Over the Breaks Over was their third single, I believe, released off of this album. Music video is adorable. It features Pete's dog, Hemingway. I don't think he's still alive, unfortunately. That's really morbid. Why am I saying this? But it features Pete's dog, Hemingway. It was really adorable. And first look into Fall Out Boy being called Sellouts was back on Infinity and High. This music video kind of, you know, sparks that debate. Sellout Boy was first seen there. It's just kind of crazy, because how do you sell out with this? I don't understand. This Ain't a Scene, It's an Arms Race. This song, their label basically told them to say goodbye to radio and any success, because this was not going to do well, and this was one of their best songs. They still play it all the time live. I forgot to mention Thriller and Take Over, Breaks Over. They do play those live occasionally, not every tour, but This Ain't a Scene has a staple in the set list. It's always played live. Some people find it kind of repetitive and annoying, but I don't, just because of the nostalgia to it. But, you know, I might be blinded by my nostalgia, but I do enjoy the song, and it's one of the songs where Patrick gets to talk on the stage, so it'll always be one of my favorites. I'm Like a Lawyer. That was the fourth single released off of this album. They went overseas to Uganda and did a music video there and kind of helped them out, which I thought was really, like, you know, honorable. Like, when I became a fan, like, they were, like, about to go over there. When I, you know, found out, like, these guys are so awesome. Like, they are just, like, stand-up guys, and I think that's part of the when they did that, it's part of the reason I was like, damn, like, it kind of made me, like, explore more into the band members themselves, which was, I mean, it's pretty cool. Hum Hallelujah, a fan favorite. This has been coming back into the set list quite often. They played it on Wind Tour, and they played it on the Mania Tour, which is great. Everyone loves Hum Hallelujah. It's very personal for a lot of people, because Pete wrote it when he was in a very dark time, suicide attempts, things like that. So it relates to a lot of people, and Hum Hallelujah has actually saved people's lives, like personal people I know, and probably a lot of people, maybe even you guys. It's a very deep song. It's very, very beautifully written lyrically. So Golden, probably one of my favorite songs on this album. It's the first ballad Fall Out Boy ever attempted. It's basically just Patrick and a piano. At least the live version was, because I've seen it live. I know. Like, don't be too jealous, but I wish I could ever see it live again. I've actually seen it live twice. Patrick and a piano, it's so beautiful, but, like, the lyrics behind it are so sad. Like, it's so sad to think that Pete was feeling that way, but I think the way Patrick delivers it is just beautiful. Then you can really tell, like, Patrick's, like, I do believe this is the first song you can tell Patrick's vocal talent. Like, you can really see his vocal talent. Beautiful, beautiful song. Thanks for the Memories. Debatably Fall Out Boy's biggest hit, tied with Sugar, We're Going Down. Everybody knows this song. Like, and it was, like, a favorite song of a lot of people. Like, friends of mine, like, oh, Thanks for the Memories was my favorite song in 2007. Everybody loved this song. It was on the radio constantly. It was on, like, the music video countdown constantly. You know, it's part of the reason, like, I looked into them was because Thanks for the Memories was always playing on the MTV countdown every day. I always thought it was weird because, you know, when you're like that, like a little kid, and you see like weird things for the first time, you get that like weird, like, is this wrong? Should I not be doing this? You know? And I used to get that sometimes watching Fall Out Boy things back when I was younger, but then I related to it in a weird way, so that's how I knew I was a weird kid. Don't You Know Who I Think I Am? Probably another one of my favorites off this song. They sampled part of it on Uma Thurman. I don't know if they actually did, but they sound too similar. This is a song where I love the melody and the composition of the song more than the lyrics. It's just such a jam. Afterlife of the Party, a beautiful song. It's actually kind of funny because that little beginning part of the song, and it's at the end as well. It's like a weird like sounds of instruments. Patrick actually did that on GarageBand as like a little like messing around in GarageBand, and actually made their record, which is so funny. But I love the bridge of that song. It's so beautiful. Again, I've heard this live a couple times, and Patrick sounds great. Carpal Tunnel of Love, such an awesome rock song. Like, this sounds like they took a lot of influence from I've Slept With Somebody and Fall Out Boy from Cork Tree, because it just sounds like a progression of that to me. And I wish that they would play it again live. I've seen it live twice. It's just straight up poetry. Like, people will read it and be like, this doesn't make any sense. But it's straight poetry. Like, Pete could have been a poet if he was like probably born in like the late, like back in the day. He would have been like up there with like Emily Dickinson and stuff, because he's just insanely talented in the lyric department. Bang the Doldrums, another one of my absolute favorites. I love the bridge where Pete says, the tombstones were waiting, they were half engraved, they knew it was over, but they just didn't know the date. Oh my gosh, I put that into my status when I was in like middle school. I just thought it was so clever. Famous Less Than Infamy, another song that I feel like took a lot of influence from Cork Tree, and maybe even Take This to Your Grave. It's just like the guitar parts, the beginning is like, I don't even know how to put it into words how much I love it. It's definitely one of my favorites. You're Crashing But You're No Wave. Again, like, oh my god, I just love this whole album. Like, I love You're Crashing But You're No Wave. I love the chorus the most. I love how it's set up like a court case. I like how Patrick's vocals are very aggressive in this song. It's just awesome. And I've Got All This Ringing, I feel like, is a mirror into what Fully Ado is going to be. A lot of experimentation, trying to see how that would like see with the fans. And I do feel like they took ideas from that and put it onto Fully. It's not one of my favorites on the album. I think it's still good, but it's not one of my absolute favorites. But I do like how they took some of those ideas and put them onto Fully, where Fully is an incredible masterpiece of art. But that's for next week. And then the bonus tracks, GINASFS, gay is not a synonym for stupid. I love that song. I don't know how it didn't make the album, but then when I look at all of the album, and I'm like, I can see how it didn't make the album, because there's just so many songs. Like, what would you take out of this album? Like, you can't. And then it's hard to say I do when I don't. Also, another awesome song that could also make the album. And it makes me like, it kind of annoys me where they have all these songs, and even on Cork Tree, they had all these songs and all these bonus tracks. And this album was like 14 songs long, but, you know, without the bonus tracks. And then like lately, Save Rock and Roll, ABAP, and Mania are gonna be 10 songs long. It's like, no, we need 14 track albums again. Like, maybe some people disagree with me because I just like a quick listen, you know, a quick whatever. But I want more. And they don't do bonus tracks as much anymore. Like, they did the Pac Sam Days for Save Rock and Roll, which was cool. It wasn't like any very high quality. And then they did Make America Psycho again, and everyone knows how I feel about that. Ugh. And I don't know what they're going to do for Mania, but it's like, I need bonus tracks in my life, because, it's so exciting when there's bonus tracks. Like, even Paris did bonus tracks, but anyway. Bonus tracks are fire on this album as well. This is by far my favorite album of all time. I love the cover artwork. I love the little sheep and the moon and just the creepy, like, aesthetic of it. Like, the back, where they look kind of weird, and this is like one of my favorite things ever. Like, the big like cricket, like, I actually found a poster, like the old, like, I actually remember these, like the old promo posters of Infinity on High, and I want it so bad, but it's like $400, and I wanted to have like as like a backdrop, because I feel like this backdrop is so like not cool. It's just like the back of like this room, and the guitar is kind of cool, but I'm gonna make a backdrop eventually. But here is what the Infinity on High vinyl looks like. This was the repressing from Hot Topic they did last year. It's so beautiful. Like, it's like blue cotton candy. The aesthetic of it is so pretty. I also have the Infinity on High picture disc. It's not with me right now. It's like hanging up. But I do have that. I'll link that video down in the description as well if you want to check out my Infinity on High picture disc. It was so expensive, man, but I'm glad they did a repress because I don't want to listen to the picture disc because I don't want to ruin it. But I listen to this all the time. I love Infinity on High. So yeah, that's gonna be it for my Infinity on High album review. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up to let me know, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And next week is Foley, probably the biggest fan favorite of all of Fall Out Boy albums. So I'm so excited to review that one. I'm so excited because yesterday was the 19th. This is going up on Friday, but the day I'm filming this, yesterday was the 19th, and it's one more month until Mania, and I can't even function because I just want to, honestly, like, I want to hear Expensive Mistakes, the studio version, so bad. Like, that'll probably be the first song to listen to when it drops. But anyway, I guess that's a topic for another video as well. But I hope everyone's having an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. It goes to